Good morning, all of you, from freezing Durban. Hate to imagine what it must be like further inland, but it's really cold, made colder seemingly by the rain. It's been drizzling on and off all night. I'm even wearing socks today. Goodness, Kit Kat doesn't even want to go outside. So we're having a really cold wintry spell at this point, which is fairly unusual for Durban, although not entirely so, but nevertheless. So we are done with this piece today, and so let me continue and get done with it, shall I? Okay, oh yeah, let's use that nice little green that's peeping at me. Can't seem to get a decent position with my chair. Okay. Right, this green is in between green and aqua, and it just helps the aqua itself, turquoise I should say, not aqua, helps the turquoise to just a little bit of differentiation. And we can fleck it in and out of further down here as well. There are some waves down there that I need to address as well. Just take that off the page, and then just a subtle hint. Slightly darker blue as well here. And now I'm going to be, so today is all about the base, it's all about the line, today. So just as I've been saying, finishing touches really. Our finale being acrylic. And I don't necessarily have to take up the full hour, so we'll see. Whatever the piece requires. Whatever it requires, so be it. Right, we start the line work with my contact. Slightly different technique over here. Remember when I said that the surface of the water is more disturbed over here? Either it's from there's kind of a rip current. Oh, tea! I need tea. Good Lord. For a moment I considered keeping my beanie on this morning. When I left my bedroom, in fact, I had sat down with my beanie still on, and I had to take it back to the bedroom reluctantly. Okay, so let's get this pail. Brother, this needs a little bit more charcoal. Just needs to be that little bit of extra darkness over here. Z for do. Okay, that'll do with that. And with the pale blue as well. So just to fill you in, as I'm filling in with line work here, well, I call this line work as well, I'm just depicting on top of the darker sort of greens and blues and browns, those hues, Huey Lewis in the news, I am depicting the reflective surfaces of this of this water, and because it's sort of a higgledy-piggledy, you know, disturbed surface, there's a lot of flecked reflections of the sky. More subtle in certain areas as we reach the immediate foreground. And I'm also employing a fair amount of creative license here. It's quite some departure from the reference image. Still, it's whatever is asked for by your command. Eraser work. So we've got this little wave just beginning. It hasn't quite crested even yet. And because of its angle, it's reflecting the sunlight directly off it. It's the water, not the foam. Just so we've got much brighter highlights. this line work starts to tie this piece, bind it up together. I'm now depicting certain lines of flow, etc. And the interesting thing is that even though they're all so many different directions with the line here, but all of it ties together. All of it ties together as one. So with the line work, even if it's in places crisscrossing, you start to get an idea of that multitude of dimensions to the water. Ever consistent change. The different facets of reflection as well as refraction. The sense of the surface of the water as well as its depth. And as I was explaining in one of my previous pieces, how fascinating I always find that, because the only way you can actually see the surface of the water in certain parts, especially when the water is clearer, is by its reflection. So, which isn't there. Because it's clear. It's still clear, and so, but just because of its angle, a slight change in angle gives you a reflection, which gives you an idea of surface. If you look into it's like Kit Kat always has to, when he's got a stainless steel drinking water bowl, and because the water level, the water surface is so still, the water is so still in the bowl, he has to test it. So he dabs his paw into it and then licks his paw, but just to disturb the surface of the water, so you can decide, okay, this is where to lick, because otherwise you can't actually see the water in the bowl. It could be empty. So you need something for you to gauge by, and you know, with the water surface here, of course, we've got constant shift and change and what have you, so we can see exactly where the surface of the water is, but where there's no foam, the water's clear nevertheless, so you shouldn't actually be able to see it. which brings to mind, of course, well, for me it does, this thing called illusion. We know the water surface is there because, well, it's water. It's there. It's look. You can see. It's a mass. It's a thing. It's there. You can see it. You can touch it. But at what point do you touch it? How real is it? It's only there because of other things. Everything exists because of its opposite. The clarity, at least the water, the visibility of the water, the depth of the water is only gauged by the reflections, the shadows, the refractions, etc. Only. So everything exists only as a result of the presence of its opposite. Which is an interesting contemplation, isn't it? We don't think of those things. We don't stop and take time to consider why something exists, why we can see something, why we can touch something. And if it's something we don't like, if it's something in our lives that we don't like, we have to know that because everything exists only because of its opposite, that if we don't like it, it has an opposite. So in other words, we can always choose the opposite. That's choice. It is given to us. It is our right. Our universal, never mind constitutional, our universal right is choice. So whenever things aren't going well for us, you must always understand. Sometimes we can only see what's a certain angle on things, because we don't take time and we don't even realize the possibility of the existence of something else, a solution. And there is always a solution, always a solution. To everything, no matter what. Life presents us with challenges virtually on a daily basis, and also presents us with the solutions. So we can either view them as a series of, we can either view life as a series of obstacles or a series of solutions. There's a thought. Well, it's there for the picking, isn't it? It's there to use or lose. Entirely up to us. Again, we're given that choice. We're given that freedom to choose. The rest is up to us, but we want to always try and pass over that responsibility to others, or apportion blame to circumstance. And we start to realize that I'm responsible for what happens in my life. I am solely responsible for what goes down. when things start to change. It's like that in it's like that in business. If our employer is willing to give us responsibility, we will always rise to the challenge and take on that responsibility. We're naturally meant to do so, and when we're given responsibility, we automatically process that as being given respect. And when we're given respect, we'll go to the ends of the earth to follow through on that and to uphold it. Because then we get a sense of worthiness. Alright guys, I'm going to start with a little bit of first of all, drink the rest of my tea. And now for some acrylic. And now for the acrylics. Let's see if I can not hash this up. This is going to be fun. This is always a fun part. This is always a fun part for me. Yes. It's going to take a lot more than that, but that'll suffice for now. Dip in the water with my X toothbrush, mind you. It's not the one I use in the mornings and the afternoons and evenings. This is my toothbrush gone by. Right, let's go. Oh wait. Oh wait. What did I say last time? Use some card where you're working so that you don't get dribble and so on. You see, just like that. Okay, let's just work through this part. To work this right through to the bottom. Yep. There we go. Well, I can't help it dropping. In any case, so be it. Yes. some nice large droplets as well, especially over this side. Right, I also need to be using, let me just get a little bit more paint on it, on the scene. And I want to use my trusty old scatty ratty brush. It's probably older than I am. I think this used to be my dad's brush. It's got a nice bristle to it, an uneven bristle, and it's just nice for daubing. And I'm just rotating the brush in my fingers as I go so that I don't get this consistent pattern. And a little bit more. I think this is the most acrylic I'll be using in any of my pieces so far to date. So this 600 micron or 390 gram paper I'm using is thick. It's thicker than your average business card, much thicker. So it soaks up any moisture. Well, in this case with the acrylic paint quite well without buckling too much, and in fact, even if it does, it will always settle down again once it's dried, which is brilliant. So it's a fantastic medium. It's better, to my mind, even than watercolor paper in this respect. Okay, watercolor paper you can add a lot more in terms of wetness. It's much more forgiving, but the thing is that this paper is also exceptionally good for the charcoal and pastel work. So it's kind of I find a very happy medium with my medium. I'm very happy with my happy medium. And as far as mediums go, I'm very happy. You know, we're going to use that full hour. You know, I was just saying, oh, well, maybe use it half an hour. Not a chance. We are going to use that full hour, and maybe then some. I like these pieces to take all the time they need. You might also notice that well, you won't be able to notice necessarily, but the fact that in places the paint is already starting to dry as it bonds with the paper, my happy medium, and I'm going to use that to full effect shortly when I work over it with my pastel, white pastel. am now going to be employing my toothbrush once again. Bear in mind, there is no way of telling how this is ever going to pan out, so I just have to be very, in this scenario that I have very little control over the end result. To a degree I do, but by and large I just have to run with it and then work around the result and use that to my best advantage. So you can imagine now this wave has come surging in and virtually ambushed you, and you weren't expecting it, and there it is suddenly in your face, splashing up, and you're pulling back. Yeah, they do that. Some nice big splatters I want to get here. There we go. Do for now. Right, wipe handies. not too much in the way of dribbling and drops, but right, let's go. Now, as I've mentioned previously, I have because I've got this splattered surface, it's changed, it's given me a new surface. So it's given me more relief and a more abrasive surface for my chalk pastel. So it lends me more dimension even. Which is wonderful. So now when I'm using my line work, it really picks up. And it still shows through some of the color and the light and dark beneath, and gives it that so much more depth here. It's almost three-dimensional. So that's the illusion. That's the illusion. So there's always more to ponder. Let's just get that off. And I think that with this we are done. Wonderful. Yes, we're done. We are done. Just give me a little bit more over here, just to soften that. And with that, we're done. Right, let's sign off here. Go. 20, plenty, 1. We're done. We are done, folks. So, hope you've enjoyed the series this week. And thank you for joining me, and thank you for sharing my work as always. You know who you are. And please do, if you're watching anew, please do invite your friends to come and either follow my Facebook page or click on through to YouTube and subscribe to my channel there, where I share the daily workings of my art during the week for an hour each day, for the most part. So yes, thanks for joining, thanks for sharing. I'm not sure yet, as always, what I'm going to do next week, but the weekend shall reveal to me, I'm sure, what that's going to be. So, thanks once again. Have a fantastic weekend. Keep warm. Oodles and oodles of toodles. Bye. And yeah, take it easy. Be good. Be safe. Keep warm. Bye. And always doodle.